Welcome back everybody to another MOTOBOB video. Now today, Ducati announced a super special version of their Diavel V4 power cruiser in collaboration with top-end car makers Bentley. This is one fancy looking bike, and so in this video we'll go over the 12 key features that you need to know about. Now the foundations for this new edition are the Diavel V4, which in itself is something pretty special. You see, there are a few bikes on the market that can mix that laid-back, almost cruiser-like riding position with such ridiculous levels of power and performance. I tried it out at the launch earlier this year and it absolutely blew me away with how it combines comfort with pretty much super naked levels of handling and speed. The 1158cc V4 Gran Turismo engine is blisteringly quick, with 168 horsepower peak up at 10,750 RPM, and it has this sort of responsive, revvy, almost sports bike kind of feel to it that you wouldn't really normally associate with this genre of bike. Then there's the soundtrack, which is absolutely epic. It howls away when you're hard on the throttle, and that only adds to the sort of sporty sensation. And the chassis is on point too. It's lightweight, it's precise, it comes in at just 236 kilograms curb. There's fully adjustable suspension, Brembo style EMA brake calipers, and it's finished off with an electronics package that's, top notch. It's cornering traction control, wheelie control, launch control, and up and down quick shifter, so it could have pretty much come straight off a Panigale V4. But I think on top of all that, it's the looks that make this bike a real statement piece. It's things like the single-sided swing arm with those beautifully machined wheels, the quad exit exhaust that really does ram home that new V4 engine configuration, and then at the rear, the tail light, which is super distinctive and unlike any other bike you'll see. Now yes, it is £23,595 to start, but this really is a bike that's in a field of one. And so how do you go about making it even more special? Well look, Ducati are no stranger to collaborating with car manufacturers. They've already paired with Lamborghini, for example, to make a Diavel 1260 and more recently a Street Fighter V4. But this time it's Bentley's turn, and for this particular bike they say they've taken inspiration from their Bator. Now I'm no car buff, but the general idea here is a Grand Tourer that delivers loads of power, but in a car that can cover a bit of distance with some creature comforts, and so it sounds like the perfect pairing for the Diavel V4. Broadly, they say the Bator gets quite long and flat horizontal lines, and so that's what they've tried to do with this bike. Also, the metallic scarab green paint is lifted straight from the Mulliner palette, Mulliner being the more bespoke top-end division at Bentley. So let's jump in on some of the details that help make this bike specific to the collaboration, and one of the ways they've done that in the past with the Lamborghini models, for example, would be with the wheels. They give them a specific design that reflects the rims on the car. So with this one, we've got forged wheels painted in a dark titanium satin, and I think the pictures speak for themselves in terms of the visual similarity, mostly on that rear wheel with the single-sided swing arm that gives you a proper good look at it. I'm also digging those unpainted machine surfaces, which, you do get on the Diavel V4, but elsewhere on the motorcycle market, it's not that common despite seeing them on, a lot of cars now. Onto the bodywork, and there are plenty of references here, so things like the side air intakes have been redesigned to specifically mimic the two-tone front grille of the Bator, and also that whole area around the radiator and belly pan has now been reworked with new shapes that look a lot more chiseled. Then you've got the front mudguard, the fly screen, and the top of the tank there, and they've put on some added ridges that reflect those seen on the bonnet of the car, and even down to the single seat cover, which can be replaced with a passenger seat, by the way, but with the seat cover, it's been shaped to take cues from the double layer extractor at the back of the Bator. Just to give it another visual lift as well, this thing is absolutely dripping in carbon fiber components, from the headlight cover, engine covers, and belly pan at the front, to the subframe panels, the rear hugger, and the exhaust heat shield at the back end there. And look, there's no word on weight, so I'm not sure there's any particular performance benefit here. here, but it definitely looks slick with the sort of black carbon contrasting against that scarab green. And I'm also loving the pops of Ducati red on the brake calipers, the air intakes, and the wheel nut. As for the rider's perch, well, this is bespoke for the bike as well, and it gets an Alcantara seat cover that takes direct inspiration from the car's interior, and Ducati say that it's achieved with precision workmanship that reveals the underlying red fabric with the same texture of that of the Batur seats and with the Bentley logo embroidered on the rear pad. Very nice. Now, as I said up top, one of the key standout design features of the Diavel V4 is that quad exit exhaust. And while this one does have, if you look closely, the 4 exits, they've also been finished off with some end caps that give it more of the appearance of 2 larger oval exits. And so again, no prizes for guessing where they took that general idea from. As for the electronics, well, there's no massive update, but like I said, it's already pretty much maxed out in terms of technical rider aids and that side of things. But what you do get is a special animation when the bike's turned on, not only on the TFT display in the cockpit, but also on that epic tail light cluster at the back, which turns it, in my opinion, into even more of a feature. So apparently there'll be just 500 of this specific model made, but on top of that, there'll be an even more limited Mulliner Edition, of which they'll only make 50 units. The idea of these is that you'll be able to collaborate directly with the Ducati styling team or their Centro Stile, and that'll allow you to configure the bike exactly how you want. So the color choices will be available for the saddle, the brake calipers, the carbon parts, and the rims, but also the bodywork paint can be color matched to your specific Bentley car if you're lucky enough to already own one. This basically sounds like an adaptation of their Unica program, which allows you to do this for pretty much any bike in their lineup. So recently they showed a Street Fighter V4 at EICMA and Motorcycle Live, which really did look very poppin', but you've just got more of a tie-in here with the Bentley style and colors. Now, each bike will be delivered with a certificate of authenticity, so you can't just go and get your local paint job to knock one up for you. And you'll also get that passenger seat and a bike cover thrown in, as well as the bike being delivered in a personalized wooden crate. To finish things off, the production number will be etched into the plate right on the side of the bike there. Now, if you do wish to go still further, and keep in mind we've already gone quite far in terms of extraness, then there's some clothing available too. So a jacket and a helmet that come in both men's and women's fits, and these are limited in edition and they're tied into the color scheme of the bike. And so yeah, might look quite cool on the wall next to the bike in the garage, but I think in terms of going out riding wearing that, it's probably not my cup of tea. Realistically though, a lot of these bikes will be for collectors because the price tag is beyond steep. It's £58,000 for the 500 regular bikes and a whopping £71,000 for those Mulliner versions with all the customization options. I think I'm right in saying this is one of the most expensive Ducatis they've ever made. It even passes the £55,995 of the Lamborghini Street Fighter V4, and it's only the Panigale V4 Superleggera that I can recall that beats it, and that came in at about £100,000 at launch. Still, the Bentley Batur, now sold out, was limited to just 18 units, and they cost £1.6 million plus taxes, so really probably getting on for around 2 million. Basically, that makes the bike look like a drop in the ocean for this target market. But as always, I'd love to know what you think of it, so do let me know down in the comments below. Is it actually impressive and a cool accessory for the car, or has the world actually gone completely mad? Also, if you haven't seen it already but like the look of the Lamborghini Street Fighter, then I'll put a link on the screen now to my video so you can give it a click and give it a watch. Hit subscribe if you've not already if you want to see more of the latest motorcycle news like this right here on YouTube. Many thanks for watching today, and we'll see you in the next one.